Good morning. I'm coming to you this morning from inside because, well, it's hot. It's going to be well over 100 today, and I'm really looking forward to being able to do these lessons with y'all back outside and such. But for right now, I think I'll stay in the air conditioning. But this morning, I want to talk to y'all about Psalm 23. It's a very intriguing passage. You see it in home decor, plaques, such as that. But unfortunately, we usually only hear it at funerals. But today, I want us to talk about it while it can still do us some good. I believe there's something in there that could not only change our walk, our daily walk with the Lord, but we could also overlook it if we're not careful. So let's read through it. It's not very long. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So, let's begin. Right off the bat, we are reminded that He is way stronger than we are, and therefore He knows a need before it arises. And we know that when David says that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He knows your needs. He knows when you need rest. He knows your financial situation. He knows everything there is to know about you. And He is the good shepherd. Stop and think about it. When was the last time you saw a sheep walk up and tap that shepherd on the shoulder and be like, "Excuse me, you've done good, but we're gonna go a different way. I'm gonna take over from here." Or walk up to the shepherd and say, "Hey, I see you're leading us off to the west. Me and the boys have talked, and we'd rather go off to the east." No, that just doesn't happen. But yet, how many times do we do that with God? How many times do we presume to know more about our situation than He does? In the back half of verse 2 and in verse 3, David tells us that God leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me on paths of righteousness. For someone to lead us, where do they have to be? They got to be in front, right? We're following them. Then in verse 4, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The rod is a symbol of strength and protection. This was a weapon that the shepherd would use to fight off any enemy, anything that was determined to do harm to his flock. The staff symbolized his loving kindness, and of course it also identified him as the shepherd. The shepherd's hook is what this one was. So his rod, a weapon to fight off evil, and his staff, his love and protection, are at each side of us. And then verse 5 tells us, you anoint my head with oil. Now, if you intend to anoint someone, you got to be above them. That's how that works. But this one's always thrown me a little bit. I never really understood. I mean, I have anointed people. I have prayed over them and done that. I get that, but this one just never really resonated with me. And after reading up on it a bit, well, the reason it never resonated with me is because David was a shepherd. I'm not. If I'm around animals, they're usually already dead. So I had to read up on this a little bit. But you see, sheep are severely helpless animals. As a man at our church said that used to be a ag teacher at a local high school, he said sheep are born looking for a place to die. They have no natural defense. And they have to deal with not just, wolves, coyotes, and such as that, but also insects. Insects will lay in the nostrils of a sheep. They'll lay their eggs there. And as most insects' eggs do, they turn to worms. You and I may refer to them as maggots. And they dwell in the nostrils of this sheep. And the sheep can't pick their own nose. And this constant crawling, moving, stuff, it just torments them to the point that they'll begin to beat their head against a rock, trying to make it stop, sometimes to the point of their own death. And their eyes and their ears are susceptible to these insects and the torments that they bring as well. So a shepherd would anoint the entire head of a sheep with oil, and the oil would create a barrier that would keep out it would be a barrier of protection against anything that would try to destroy or at the very least torment the sheep. So from above, he provides a barrier for your mind against Satan's attacks. And then in verse 6, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. For something to be following you, it must be chasing you. It must be pursuing you from behind. When I have the opportunity to retrieve a downed animal, a downed deer with my blood dog, one of my blood dogs, we're always behind the animal. We're trailing it. It's called blood trailing. We're coming up from behind. Now, if God can create an animal that will pursue its prey, that deer, that hard, and push itself that hard to get that deer to its rightful owner, imagine how hard the creator of that animal is going to pursue us, is going to chase after us. God is in control. He is leading me down the right path. He is over me, guarding me from the evil one. He is to my left with his strength and protection, to my right with his loving kindness. And if that weren't enough, he is coming up behind me the rest of my days with his goodness and his mercy. Now, this valley of the shadow of death, this was a literal place. It was a canyon in which a road went through. And it was, you were not to, wouldn't be wise to travel it at night or even in the evening time. It was known to house murderers, thieves, such as that, bandits. So to walk through it, David is giving us a reference of a very dangerous, unhappy, or unsure time in our lives. So how can we walk through the valley of fear, death of a loved one, turmoil, uncertainty about our lives, about our health, about our financial situations, the heartbreak of watching a loved one wander away from God's love for them? How can anybody expect us to do that? We can do that because we are completely surrounded by the God who loves us, that we have the shepherd on every side of us. Nowhere in this passage does David boast of his own strength. It's not about being strong. It's about you and I trusting that we are completely surrounded by a loving, caring Father. David reiterates this in Psalm 139 when he says in verse 5, you hem me in before and behind, you lay your hand upon me. There we go, the hemming in, the before, the behind, his hand is upon us. Max Planck, he's a Nobel Prize winning physicist. He died at nearly 90 years of age back in 47, I believe. Dude's way smarter than me, but he discovered the smallest amount of time, and he referred to it as Planck time. In Planck time, it's so small that no amount of science, no amount of mathematics can determine between then and now. It's so small that science, that's as low as it can go. And in doing so, he also discovered Planck distance. Any smaller than Planck distance, and science can't tell the difference between there and here. Well, y'all, that's where God is. He is in the place that, according to the smartest and most brilliant of minds, doesn't exist. He is so close to us, he literally hems us in. He has us surrounded. Not only that, he desires that we rest knowing that he's got us. When he makes me lie down in green pastures and he leads me beside still waters and he restores my soul, y'all, this is not a place of hurry or pressure or worry. This is a place of peace, restoration, and rest, because he knows our worrying does nothing. As I heard an old lady say, worrying is a lot like sitting in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. And that is every reason why we, brothers and sisters, should be walking in confidence today. The great shepherd will provide. He has surrounded us so closely that the human mind cannot comprehend it. And he desires that we rest on him. Now, this is only for the believer. So if you're listening to this today and this sounds like something you've been missing, the rest, the protection, someone to take the reins, there's nothing stopping you. He's ready when you are. The work has already been done on the cross. From the cross, Jesus did not say, it's up to you now. Jesus did not say, this is the beginning. He said, it is finished. It's already been done. It's as easy as accepting a gift on Christmas morning. He's already bought it. He's already wrapped it. He's already got your name on it. All you have to do is open it. If I can be of service to you during this time, by all means, please contact me. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day. Talk to you later.